Now turn the program over to Alan Walk, Chairman of Special and Uniform on JNF's Task Force on Disabilities.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm here to tell you an amazing story of inclusion and of dreams coming true for my friend Daniel Defur. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about Special and Uniform and about my story. Special and Uniform is a unique program participating in partnership with JNF that integrates young adults with autism and other mental and physical disabilities into the Israeli Defense Forces and in turn into Israeli society. Its core belief is that everyone belongs and has the right to reach his or her potential. I found Special and Uniform, or should I say the program found me, on a 2015 JNF disabilities mission while visiting a Lot Naval Base where one of the first units of Special and Uniform was deployed. The SIU volunteer soldiers were working in the kitchen and the mess, doing the same job as the typical soldiers. They were so proud. I was hooked. I called my wife in Georgia and told her what I had experienced, and we were hooked. It has been our calling and our passion ever since. A few years later, on another mission, I met this young man at a Special and Uniform dinner party who only wanted to talk about cars. And Tehran pointed him to me because I love cars. We spoke for over an hour, yelling over the music, and became friends. Since, we talk every week about his dream to be a full-time soldier and defend his homeland and cars. And I told him every week to do well in school, do well on your SIU volunteer work, and keep pushing Tehran that you want to be a real soldier. And I kept pushing, and Yossi Kahana kept pushing, and Tehran kept pushing. And today we celebrate Daniel. Call it a miracle, say that JNF and Special and Uniform pulled a rabbit out of a hat, or just call it a young man's dream coming true. Today, just a few hours ago, the Prime Minister spoke in the Knesset and told Daniel's triumphant story. He said, "This is the spirit of Israel." Today, we have four amazing people joining us from Israel. Daniel Defur and his mom, Ruth. They are the reason we're here. We're also honored to have with us Lieutenant Colonel Tehran Atiyah, the Director of Special and Uniform. And last but not least, the inspirational IDF Major, Ricky Golan. Ricky knows all too well the need for this program. She has cerebral palsy, but perseverance and Ricky together conquered the obstacles. She has served in the IDF for the past 20 years as a highly respected officer. We will hear more from Ricky later in the program. And now let's watch a short video about Daniel.
Meet Daniel. He lost his eyesight at age 13, but that did not stop his dream of serving his country as an IDF soldier. Daniel even called the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and eventually joined JNF's Special and Uniform program.
I wanted to go to the army because I think it's important that I'll serve my country and I'll serve it well. I just want to say I love you. And I feel happy that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu contacted the project Gdolim B'Madim and JNF, and now I'm in the army, and I'm very, very happy. And I have a lot of friends in my army base, and they are very kind to me. They doesn't see me like something strange because I'm blind. I'm blind, yeah, but I can do a lot. I think I can do 8 times more than a regular person.
Daniel is not alone. To date, Special and Uniform at JNF has integrated 400 youth with disabilities in several IDF bases across the country. We're using the stage of the military to give these young adults the experience of work so they can utilize it in life.
Today is a very, very special day for me because today I was inducted to the IDF just like any other soldier in the state of Israel. This wouldn't have happened without your help and without your support.
We see people like Daniel, people like all the people with special need, part of the Israeli society, especially in uniform, with the help of the JNF USA are making miracles to people here in Israel.
Thank you, JNF, for your support to create a new life model for people with disabilities. Together, we are creating a more caring and inclusive society in Israel.
Thank you to Special Uniform and JNF for letting me the opportunity to serve in the IDF.
Lieutenant Colonel Taran Atiyah serves as Director of Special and Uniform. Over the course of his distinguished 28-year career in the IDF, Taran commanded a tank, the IDF's Technology and Logistics Forces Training Program, and the Sarel program for Army volunteers from around the world. Taran, you are a true leader with a large heart, a huge heart, and a good friend. Taran Atiyah.
Taran, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay, so thank you again, Ellen. And I was so excited to see that clip again and again and again. And I can tell you that I know Daniel for 3 years now, and seeing him now making me some like a proud father. But I see so many friends and also so many new friends, and I would like tremendous in uniform and for his as we are celebrating Daniel 3 or 4 years ago, and you see him now, a young adult, not a young adult, now he's a young man. And I can tell you that he is the first blind soldier in our program, but he is the first one. And we are going to see that there will be so many more. And I can tell you that we are learning so much from him. And I'm sure that he will lead his steps and dreams one at a time. And, you know, challenges are not obstacle for him. And he is a huge role model for so many of us. And you know, in Israel, the vast majority of the typical high school graduate serve in the Israeli army regularly, on a regular basis. And some are doing some alternative service, like a national service, but young people with disabilities are not eligible to serve in the Israeli army. And because of that, they are missing the daily life of being an Israeli citizen like anyone else, and they are not normalizing the experience of the Israeli adulthood. And I can tell you that since JNF partnered with Special in Uniform, or may I say Special in Uniform partnered with JNF, we are seeing a huge success. We started with approximately 40, and now I'm proud to announce that we have more than 400 participants in our program. 400 that no one gave them a chance to be part of. And more than that, they are spread from the Golan Heights to Eilat, from all levels or all layers in the Israeli society. with Daniel, there was a guy from the Druze community, one of the minorities in Israel, that was inducted with him. His name is Tariq Tuba. And you know what? His sister also has some kind of disability. And in Israel, the women in the Druze community are not participating in serving the army, and she wants to be also. And we said that we are more than welcoming her also. So the army service helped our soldiers to take one step toward being independence in the Israeli society, independence in their daily life. So the program that we assembled is a three-phase program. The first is pre-army course, which means that we are evaluating each one's ability to see what he can do, what she can do. And after having this data about each one of them, we are coming to the army and saying we are ready for the next phase. And the next phase is serving in the Israeli army like all the other soldiers, which means that all the things that they were learning during the pre-army course is being implemented within the army to be independent, to be sufficient and do the same thing like all the others. It's mainstreaming them. And the third phase, which we are facing now for the last year, is integrating them and mainstreaming them in the Israeli society. And the impact of this program is huge because it touches all layers of disability. And it's not only the soldier himself, it's more than that. It's his family, it's his society. And you know, in Israel, a lot of people coming from their bases on Friday with their uniform, standing on bus stations, and they are getting a lot of respect from the Israeli society citizens. And now people with special need can wear the uniform proudly and be honored to wear the uniform and going back home on their uniform like anyone else. And we are hearing so many fields that the civilian work that they are working there is some kind of becoming natural, and the influence is enormous. And we believe that Israel will become the most inclusive society in the world, since we are seeing that the army, the IDF, is the only one, the only army in the world that includes people with special need, the only army with special need, that accepting people with special need, and more than that, they are accepted as they are. No one wants to change them. The only thing that we want for them is that they will reach their glass of ceiling, and we are giving them some hammers to break it. And when I say to break it, and when they are breaking this glass of the ceiling of glass, the sky is the limit. And see Daniel. And as I said 3 years ago, no one would have believed that this guy is going to be inducted to the army. I was so skeptical, but when I knew Daniel day after day after day, I saw that this young man has the potential to reach the sky. And more than that, I can tell you, and I'm promising you, that this impact of Daniel and his whole 400 friends is going to make a change, not only in Israel, also in the world. Since we brought special in uniform to the USA, we started 2 groups, one in South Carolina and one in Virginia, and special in uniform is going to be there. Is going to be there. And more than that, we believe that everyone belongs. No one will stay beside, no one will stay in backyards. They will be in every place like anyone else. Because I say, and we believe that everyone belongs. I would like to thank all my friends in the JNF, which became a close family to mine. And after this COVID-19 is over, all of you, I can promise you that all of you are invited. You are invited to my heart anyhow, but you can be also part of my family and you are invited to my loving family. And I can tell you that the only thing that we want is to get back to normal. Hope to see you very soon in Israel, very, very soon in Israel. And Am Yisrael Chai. Toda rabba, and thank you all for listening. Toda rabba.
Thank you, Tehran. For everyone on this video, I can tell you that Tehran is the only colonel that I know that has 450 children. And he actually acts like that. He believes in this program deeply. And now for the moment we're all waiting for, Daniel, our star, and his mom, Ruth. Daniel, we're so happy and proud of you. You did it. Congratulations. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. You've been beside Daniel every step of the way. You too should get a beret. Daniel, will you say a few words, please?
Yes, I'm very happy and I'm honored to serve my country like anyone else in the Israeli Defense Forces, in the most moral army in the world. Because it's very, very important for me, and I feel so thankful to the JNF, to Special in Uniform, to Tehran, to Yossi, to everyone that helped me to achieve this. This is my IDF ID card. And my number in, so thank you everyone.
Dan,
Yes.
would you please share with the group how you met the Prime Minister?
דניאל, ספר לנו על הפגישה שלך עם ביבי נתניהו.
בסדר. So I met Prime Minister Netanyahu about 3 years ago. We had in the school, in the Jewish Institute for Blind, a project of 50 years of a united Jerusalem, where I, with the help of my teacher, Mrs. Alva Suissa, we wrote together a letter to the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that I want to sit with him for 5 minutes in his car. Nobody could believe that I will be accepted by the Prime Minister, and he invited me the next day to the Knesset. And then in the car, when we sat, he asked me, Daniel, what other dreams you have? And I told him, Mr. Prime Minister, I don't have friends. Please help me to make friendships. And now, thanks to that, I have a lot of friends, but the most important thing for me was to become an Israeli soldier. And as you can see, thanks to Special in Uniform, thanks to the Prime Minister, and thanks to the JNF, I made it, and now I'm a full member in the Israeli Defense Forces. Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you, Daniel. We're now going to watch another short video.
דניאל, אני רק נוגע לך פעם אחת, צור יותר. מזל טוב. חייל. אדוני ראש הממשלה, אני רוצה לאהוב אותך. כרטיס חוגר. זה דניאל שבא אליי יום אחד ורצה לראות את המכונית של ראש הממשלה, לשבת בה, וישבנו בה, ואמרת לי שאתה רוצה חברים ואתה רוצה להתגייס. מימשת את שניהם, אתה ענק, פשוט ענק, ענק. אתה יודע, אדוני ראש הממשלה, יש לי עוד חלום שאני חושב שאתה אחד תעשה לממש לבד. אתה יודע מה החלום? תגיד לי. שלום עולמי. שלום עולמי? אני עובד על זה, אבל זה ייקח לי קצת זמן.
לא הרבה.
זה ייקח את הזמן.
אדוני ראש הממשלה, אני יכול לשים אותה להצדיע לך?
סליחה?
אני יכול לשים אותה להצדיע לך?
אני מצדיע לך. ענקי, הלוואי שהייתי יכול לחבק אותך. אנחנו רוצים לברך אותך ראש הממשלה על באמת הליווי שלך עם הפרויקט שלנו. אנחנו שמחים שהצלחנו להגיע להישג באמצעותך ולגייס אותו לצבא. מדהים, פשוט מדהים.
So Daniel, what's your next dream?
My next dream. Yes,
Yes, your next dream.
my next dream is to become an ambassador for people with special needs in the army, to become the first blind lieutenant, and hopefully to be a Knesset member.
Hopefully your dreams will come true, Daniel. Work hard.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to introduce everyone to Major Ricky Golan. Ricky, we're so happy you could join us today.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here, and especially excited to see Daniel's story. And I want to salute Ruth, Daniel's mom, because I remember that my mom was the one that told my doctors, who said I wouldn't ever walk. My mom said, my daughter is stubborn and she wants to walk and she will walk. And I started walking when I was 4 years old. And ever since then, I tried to do everything like everybody else. And it was not easy, but I succeeded until I got to the army. And when I wanted to go to the army, just like my 2 other twin brothers, because I'm one of our triplets, I wanted to go with them to the army. The army said no. And it was a great struggle. And I was very close to give up. And just thanks to my father and mother, who was very, very strong, pushing me and helping me through this struggle. I conducted into the army. And after that, I struggled to go to officers course. And now I'm finishing 24 years in the Israeli army and still counting. So seeing Daniel and his story, I understand that when I was young, there was no special in uniform. There was no one there for me except my family. We had to do everything by ourselves. We have to fight. And today, thanks to special in uniform, thanks to whatever you do, the fight is easier. You can do it. And there are other people that are succeeding and doing it. And it is no longer a dream, which is very, very difficult because there's someone with you in this struggle. So I want to thank you for doing what you do. And I also want to thank you for having me as part of this team, because I'm very, very happy and proud to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky. You are an inspiration and a wonderful role model. As chair of the program, I'm very familiar with the challenges our volunteer soldiers have to be inducted into the IDF. Over the past 5 years, out of a total of more than 1,000 special in uniform young men and women deployed at over 28 bases across Israel, only about 60 young adults have achieved this milestone. But Daniel did. Please join us and support Special in Uniform. My wife and I sponsor the Tel Naf Air Force Base unit in Tel Aviv. Others sponsor units for specific focus areas, like the hearing impaired or a unit that trains Army dogs. Still others sponsor one soldier for a donation of $5,000 per year. We need your help to support the 400 plus young adults across these 28 bases. Any gift is greatly appreciated. You'll be receiving an email and a text enabling your contribution. JNF USA's tagline is "Your Voice in Israel." While sitting in Roswell, Georgia, I can attest that my voice was heard. Together with JNF USA and Special in Uniform, we made a difference in Israel, in inclusion, and in Daniel Defur's life. You too can make a difference. Join us. Thank you very much.
During this time of social distancing, Jewish National Fund USA wants to help you feel closer to Israel. If you like today's program, you'll love our #1 podcast, Israelcast, a fascinating and inspirational look at what's going on in Israel, hosted by Stephen Shalowitz. New episodes come out every other Wednesday. Check it out at jnf.org/Israelcast, or you can find it, Israelcast, wherever you download your podcasts. Thank you so much for coming today and have a wonderful afternoon.